Welcome to our deep dive into Los Angeles's fire history. From the early days of the city to the major fires that shaped its development, Los Angeles has long been at the mercy of wildfires. In this video, we'll explore the catastrophic blazes that have marked the city's past, how firefighting strategies have evolved, and what's different today. Whether you're a longtime resident or just curious about the city's fire history, we'll break it down in detail. Stay tuned, because by the end, you'll understand why LA's battle with fire is one of the most ongoing and ever-changing stories of this city. But before we get started, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more fascinating content. Let's dive in. 1. The early days, wildfires in the 1800s to early 1900s. Los Angeles, a sprawling city today, wasn't always the concrete jungle it is now. Back in the mid-1800s, LA was mostly a small town surrounded by vast hills and dry brush. The first significant recorded fire in the city occurred in 1851, when a combination of dry conditions and human activity led to a blaze that swept through the small settlement. At that time, Los Angeles was largely undeveloped, and residents didn't have the tools or systems we now associate with firefighting. Firefighting in these early years was a community effort. Without fire departments or modern equipment, residents formed bucket brigades, passing water from one person to another in an attempt to stop the spread of flames. This rudimentary system had limited success, and fires were often left unchecked for long periods, causing massive damage. At the time, most buildings were made of wood, making them extremely vulnerable to fires. What was once just a small town surrounded by nature began expanding quickly as the city grew, and with that expansion came an increased fire risk. The situation was about to get more complicated. 2. The rise of urbanization and fire risks in the early 20th century. As Los Angeles grew in the early 20th century, so did its fire risk. By the 1920s, the city was becoming more urbanized, with new neighborhoods and business districts rising up. Unfortunately, this also meant that fire could spread more rapidly, particularly as the dry season brought the ever-present threat of wildfires. During this time, fire departments began becoming more organized. LA's fire department was officially established in 1886, but it wasn't until the early 1900s that the department started to develop more sophisticated systems and tools. Fire trucks were equipped with larger hoses and more water, but they still relied heavily on the manpower and technology of the time. Even with improved methods, wildfires were still rampant, particularly in the rural areas surrounding the growing city. With no clear containment zones and more homes being built near brush, fire risks only increased. The frequency and severity of wildfires were becoming a familiar part of life for Angelenos. Three. Major fires and changing strategies, 1960s to 1980s. The 1960s marked a turning point in LA's relationship with fire. One of the most notable fires during this time was the Bel Air Fire of 1961. This fire wasn't just another wildfire, it burned through the wealthy Bel Air neighborhood, destroying homes and leaving a profound impact on the city's residents. For the first time, the threat of fire was felt by affluent communities as much as the poorer ones. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, wildfires continued to devastate Los Angeles, particularly in areas like Topanga Canyon and Malibu. The growth of the city into the surrounding hills made it more vulnerable to these massive fires, which could cover thousands of acres in mere hours. These years also marked an era when fire departments began to understand that technology alone would not solve the problem. Even with modern fire trucks and engines, the fires were just too large and spread too quickly for traditional firefighting strategies to keep up. This led to a major shift in how firefighting efforts were organized, with the city investing more in both infrastructure and fire prevention systems. 4. The shift to high-tech firefighting, 1990s to 2000s. As the city entered the 1990s and early 2000s, firefighting technology advanced at a rapid pace. Helicopters and planes equipped with water tanks and fire retardants became crucial tools in containing large wildfires. The days of fighting fires with just hoses and buckets were quickly becoming a thing of the past. In addition to aerial support, firefighters now have access to infrared cameras, allowing them to see through thick smoke and detect the hottest areas of a fire. These tools, along with satellite data and GPS mapping systems, enabled fire departments to track fires with unprecedented accuracy, allowing them to respond faster and more effectively. Additionally, interagency cooperation became more important than ever. With wildfires becoming more destructive and more frequent, Los Angeles and surrounding areas began to share resources, including fire engines, helicopters, and personnel, to create a united front against the ever-growing risk. 5. What's different today? Technology, community involvement, and prevention. So, what's different today? While the risk of wildfires in Los Angeles remains ever-present, technology and community involvement have significantly changed how the city manages and prevents fires. For one, LA's fire department has adopted a far more proactive stance, focusing on fire prevention as much as response. Local residents are encouraged to clear dry brush and use fire-resistant materials when building or renovating homes. New construction codes now require homes in fire-prone areas to be built with fire-resistant materials like concrete and steel. Residents are also encouraged to create defensible space, clearing brush, trees, and other flammable materials from around their homes to prevent fires from spreading. Technology continues to be a key factor in modern firefighting. Drones, helicopters, and even artificial intelligence are used to predict fire behavior, map the fire spread, and direct resources more effectively. All of these advancements have led to faster response times and, in many cases, saved lives. 6. The future of firefighting in Los Angeles. As we look toward the future, it's clear that the battle against wildfires in Los Angeles is far from over. Climate change is making conditions even more volatile, with hotter temperatures and longer dry seasons. But with continued technological innovation, improved fire prevention strategies, and a stronger sense of community responsibility, LA is becoming more resilient than ever. Ultimately, it's not just about fighting the fires, it's about preventing them from happening in the first place. As Los Angeles grows and evolves, the fight against fire will continue to shape the city and its people. From the first recorded fire in 1851 to today's high-tech firefighting strategies, Los Angeles has come a long way in its battle with wildfires. But the fight is ongoing, and we all play a role in ensuring the safety of our city. If you live in a fire-prone area, take the necessary steps to prepare your home and community. Stay informed, stay safe, and take action before disaster strikes. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos on the stories that shape our world, and we'll see you in the next one.